Hello there, M. Strange here. I haven't done a tutorial in a long time, and I saw my pal Demonic Bunny asking me about some lighting questions on my blog. So since I'm working on the new movie, and I just finished lighting all the sets and lighting everything, and I learned a bunch of new stuff, so I figured I should come on here and kind of share some of it with you, because it's stuff that I kind of tried to read about or learn from other places, but I just kind of learned from practice. So I just wanted to share my principles with you. And sorry if it's noisy, it's the render computers because I'm working on the new movie, so they're rendering. But yeah. So I'm working here in Cinema 4D, and I just have a simple scene with a sphere and a cube, and a floor and one light. Now I guess this is gonna be just like a basic lighting thing too, so I should probably start from scratch. So here we just have a scene with no lights in it, and I turn the grid off, which you can do by going up here, turn grid on and off. If you want to simplify your scene, sometimes it's easier to turn it off. So I'm going to click just the default light object and add a light. Now, I don't know what other 3D programs do, but when you first create a light in Cinema 4D, it creates an Omni light, which is actually the only the only time I use these in scenes is for stuff like candles and flames, because if you think about real world lights, there's not many lights that act like this, which disperse light in all directions equally. So for most of your stuff, if you're like, I'm gonna assume you're trying to frame a character or use lights to highlight a scene or something, you're gonna want to use a spotlight. So we go into spotlight, and you can see a little cone that is gonna be shooting the light out. And a really easy way to use spotlights, because you can try rotating them and putting them in the scene, and this is okay, but I found, this is the way I do it. I don't do it like this at all. Is that let's open another view, and in Cinema 4D, if you click on a light and then you go up to camera, link active object, then you're looking through that light. So now I just spin around and navigate like I would navigate any scene, but I'm actually aiming the light. And I think this is really the best way to position lights. There's a lighting tool in Cinema 4D too, but I still find this way to be better. So you can actually go and point it at the stuff you want, and then you can switch back to original view, and there's the light, right? So if we render that, by default there's no shadows on, so you want to go in here and turn shadow on. Now, being that it's a synthetic environment in 3D, and it tries to simplify things for you, a lot of programs do this. If you look and see, the color of the light is pure white. Now, maybe a lot of you leave your lights that color, but the best way to learn about lighting is to look at lights and shadows in the real world, and I don't think you ever will find a light that is pure white. So what you want to do is go down here in your little color gradient and never make lights that are just pure white. You're going to want to have them, well, lighting is like an interplay of warm and cold lights, or think about it like fire and ice. So warm lights like flames, stuff like that, fire or whatever, are usually colored with a little yellow, or maybe even a little orange, like this. So this would be a warmer light. Now if you look at the scene, it looks a little more realistic because there's some color in the light. You can turn it down a little bit. But just think of lighting and colors in lighting, when you're using colors, like an interplay of fire and ice. So hot and cold lights. And they don't have to be like pure yellow, because then that's like a special effect. Just a little touch of a color makes a big difference. So let's make a cool light. Now look at what the scene looks like now. It makes it look cooler. So just so you know, just like in painting, I never studied it, but I picked some stuff up. So the warm colors kind of draw you forward, or draw things forward in the scene, and the cool colors, or the blues, push it back. So say we had a character, I'm going to use this default character because everybody probably has this dude, this mannequin guy, and let's bring over here, like in the front of the shot, right? So let's just say this is just a scene with this character here, right? So we want him to feel like he's in the foreground. So I'm going to go switch to another view and look through the light again. And then go put some warm light on this guy. right? So he has this warm light on him. And then I'm going to go and just copy and paste this light to make the same one, but then make it a cool light. So I'm going to add some blue to it, maybe a little more. And I'm going to go back over here and look through that light and light the background with that. Now this is a really like simple example. I mean, I don't know if I would light something exactly like this, but can you kind of see how it makes him pop out more? I mean, both things are lit, but it's just kind of how the colors work. And I mean, how would you figure out these colors? One thing that I do that I found is really helpful is if you find environments in real life where you like the lighting, get a white piece of paper. So I like this lighting here in this park. So I took just a white piece of paper. You want a pure white piece of paper. Put it in the scene. I wanted to find out what the colors of the shadows and light were at this time of day. So I put the paper there and I took a photo of it. And then I brought it back, put it in Photoshop, and then, you know, use a little eyedropper to get the colors. Because sometimes, a lot of times your eyes deceive you in what color you think lights and shadows are. So from analyzing this, I found out that the shadows were blue or cool, and the light was like orange. So ever since then, I've been lighting all my sets with these orange and blue colors. And if you just think about that, like using warm colors to pull things forward and cool colors to push things back. And also it has a lot to do with mood, because, you know, the cool colors are ice, so cold, so they kind of lack emotion, or they make things seem lonely or desolate. And then the warmer colors are more alive, or, you know, make things seem like friendlier. Just think about a character sitting by a fireplace. He'd be orange or yellow and he'd look warm and cozy, you know, as opposed to one sitting in an igloo, which would be cold, you know, and not look so like, you know, like a nice place to be. So something else, I mean, I think I went over 3-point lighting in one of my other tutorials, so, you know, I wouldn't just use this one light on the character. This light that I have here would be the key light, and then you see that these shadows are kind of a little too dark there, and it still looks like two-dimensional. So I would add another light that would be probably half the intensity of this one, and then bring it in from over here to fill in this one, and then you can add a backlight. But there's plenty of information about that stuff. That's pretty basic stuff. But something else that I've been using a lot in the movie is the use of gobos or gobos. I'm not sure how you say them, but they're kind of something that was used a lot in theater and old movies. There's a really famous film noir lighting book called Painting with Light, and that's where I got the idea. But what it is, and this is how I use it. So, you know, say you just had a really basic scene like this, and say you had all the elements in it that you wanted, like this was a house and this was like a table and the character, and you're lighting it, but you're just like, oh, it still just looks too simple. Now, before you go and throw on some crazy, like, complicated textures or add stuff in, try playing with shadows, because you can do a lot just with basic shadows. So let's just say this was inside of a house, and, you know, there was like windows or something. This light was supposed to be coming in a window, right? So let's try to use a gobbo or a gobo for that. So the easiest way to make one is, let's see how we would do that. I'm just going to get a cube, and I just want to punch some holes in this cube. Or actually, yeah, we can use a cube. So, let's see here. I'm going to get this cube, and then I'm going to give it some segments like that. And then I'm going to go to the cube, make it editable. Now again, this isn't like a tutorial on how to do this. Come on, computer. You are too slow. If you saw my little locator thing disappear, you know, the axis, it's because I clicked Alt-D like this. So that makes that disappear, because sometimes it's annoying and gets in your way. So let's just go like that. I could do the other side too, but I think I'm just going to delete it and do a 2D version. So I'm going to go press I to do an inner extrude, and then turn off preserve groups. And then go like this, because I just want like a window simulation. Then I'm going to delete those, and then I'm actually going to go and just delete the whole other side. Or, yeah, let's do that. Because it doesn't have to be, I mean, you would probably want it to be like a real window, but I don't want to take the time to do that right now. I just need to show the principle. Where'd my mouse go? Where is my mouse? Hello? What? Alright. Mouse went kind of crazy there a little bit. Alright. So let's go back. So this will be like our shadow caster thing. You can already see it like casting a shadow, but what you want to do is move it in front of the light, because we're going to use this to project shadows. So let's find a camera that we can kind of see where the light is a little better. So it's like up there, and then what the hell? Oh, we know we got to rotate it like this if this thing doesn't flip all crazy. So, and this could be like tree branches, it could be a whole bunch of different things. And again, it's not supposed to be like super, it doesn't have to be super detailed or anything. It's just kind of a real rough representation. I'm just gonna have to go up there and do this myself. Okay, so I think there's a plugin that actually does this automatically. You can use textures too, like project through textures. Oh, that was a problem. That's why you want to use all your cameras when navigating in 3D. I'm a bad example. Okay. So now this light, oh yeah, I could have just done this. So you can see now the light's like projecting through this, right? So if we go back, oops, where our set was supposed to be. Come on, I don't usually use this Mac for this. So now, as you can see, we have that gobo or gobbo projecting these shadows in the scene. So just like really quickly and easily, and it didn't, you know, make the render time go up, this scene kind of got a little more interesting looking. So you can use simple things like that, or like I said, tree branches, anything. Just look at the world around you and look at shadows that are being produced, and then just make a little thing and stick it in front of the camera. And then what you can do, if you want to make a preset one, is, you know, where's the light? Here's a light right here. Is just get this and then put it inside the light. So now anywhere I have this light, I move this light around, it's going to be projecting that shadow. So now if I put it over here on this scene, you know, you have those things being projected. So you can use those gobos or gobos to really add a lot of complexity to your scene or make things more interesting without, you know, having to model whole other parts of the scene. And something else I wanted to say about textures, and what I kind of learned is that when I did my last movie, I had a lot of like really bright colors and complicated color, or I guess, yeah, just a lot of bright colors in my textures on the characters and the backgrounds. And then when I came to light them, it just kind of, everything kind of just seemed like it didn't match, you know, because I would try to put colored lights, but then it would clash with the colors in the texture. And then I just ended up putting like a color hue thing over the whole scene to try to make it look okay. But what I learned on this one, it may be basic to people that got taught, but you know, I taught myself, is that you don't want to use the textures, the colors in the textures, to define the mood or give you the colors in your scenes. You want to use really desaturated colors or really subdued colors in your textures for your characters and your sets, and you want to use the lights to give you the colors in the scene. So that's when in my new movie, the colors on the characters and the backgrounds is almost like all black and white, or really, really desaturated colors, and then you use the lights, the hot and cold lights, to actually bring mood and life to the scene. Because like I said, if you have all these colors in the textures and then you try to add colored lights, it just ends up clashing with it. And before I end this and go back to work, there's just another thing about beveling your edges. This is super basic, but you probably know this already. But you know, in order for light to really define stuff and catch on it, you want to like bevel all your edges, just so the light has something to work with. But yeah, so that's just the really basic couple lighting things I want to show you. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you the example. So these are like some other type of things you can do with gobos. So the way these work in the real world, they actually stick these in front of a light. so it goes through it and casts these as a shadow. So just think about this, and you know, all the different things you can make for gobos. So yeah, use your shadows to add suspense or mystery or whatever you want in your scenes. Use the color, you know, of your lights to define your mood, and of course to show stuff in the scene. And yeah, so if you have any questions or whatever, just post them in the comments or let me know. I'm eventually going to do a ton of character animation tutorials, like pretty advanced stuff, as I get further along in the movie. But I'm pretty busy with it right now, so I'll do my best to do that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I don't know, have fun with lighting. Alright, peace out.